It was that in that moment when I was reading his book that I realized that, you know what, at times we suffer in life, at times we don't get what we want, just because we're not speaking it into existence, just because we're not actually calling those things that we need in order for them to manifest. Hey beautiful people, and welcome back to Divulge Talk Show. My name is Mabandi and welcome back to another Thursday Thoughts video with me. If you're familiar with this topic, that is because I have done it before on the show. Now, if you've been following me throughout the Divulge, talk show videos and everything, you're probably like, I think you've done this topic before, and actually I have. If I'm being honest, I was not happy with the video that I shot, and I was not happy with the content, and I decided to delete the video and to redo it again. So here I am again with the affirmations and the power of a manifestation. That's what we are talking about today, and let us just delve right into it. So, have you ever heard the statement, be careful for what you wish for? And if you have, that is because your tongue or your mouth is a very powerful tool. Whatever you wish for, whatever you say, has the potential to come into existence. So affirmations and the powerful manifestations are quotes and statements we always hear and read on social media. However, the question is, are you taking it into action? Many times we always like and subscribe and share and take screenshots of quotes when people talk about how it's important to manifest your life, how it's important to speak life in anything that you want. But are you taking action? Are you intentionally going to your room or going back home or in your own safe space and actually affirming and actually speaking things into existence? You want a job, are you affirming that you want a job? You want a car, are you affirming that you want a car? Whatever it is that you want, are you really doing it, or are you just resharing and posting and talking about it without actually intentionally looking back at your life and actually affirming what you want? So one of the reasons why, in fact the actual reasons why I felt like sharing this video with you guys is because I read the book called Mind Power into the 21st Century by John Kehu or Kehu. I'm not very sure of how to pronounce his surname. Please forgive me if it's wrong. I will insert a cover of the book just in case you want to know how it looks like. So I read his entire book, and affirmations is just a section of his book, and I thought to myself, why not? Why not share this with my audience? Why not share this with my subscribers? And it literally changed my life. His book changed my life when it comes to how I see myself, how I see my life, especially affirmations. It was that in that moment when I was reading his book that I realized that, you know what, at times we suffer in life, at times we don't get what we want, just because we're not speaking it into existence, just because we're not actually calling those things that we need in order for them to manifest. So after reading his book, I took it upon myself to actually start speaking into existence. Everything that I needed, everything that I wanted, I started speaking to existence. It didn't even matter if it was like a crazy thing or whatever it is. I just started affirming everything. When it came to my school, when it came to my future, when it came to like my finances and my job and everything that I just wanted, I started speaking. And honestly, if I'm being honest, I have seen the result of it. It's like so many of the things that I've affirmed have actually come into existence because I intentionally spoke about those things. I intentionally told myself, this is what I want, and I called it into manifestation. So when it comes to affirmations, honestly, you don't have to feel restricted. You don't have to feel restricted to your car or to your house or to your job or to your finances. It can be even about yourself, your mental health. You can affirm that you have a healthy mental health. You can affirm emotional healing. You can affirm even your character. If you feel like you have bad habits or whatever it is, you can actually affirm those things. So affirmations, it does not have to restrict you. And this can be from your job, your business, your career, academics, spirituality, your health, relationships, friendships, and many more. The goal is to fill your mind with positivity and self-assurance. That is the goal of affirming. That is the goal of affirming positivity. Mind you, I'm talking about affirming good things in your life, not affirming bad things. So affirmations is very, very important. So on pages 27 to 28, John Cahu says that affirmations are simple statements repeated to yourself silently or aloud, whatever feels most comfortable and practical to you at the time. You can do them anywhere, in your car while you're driving, sitting in a doctor's office waiting for an appointment, lying in bed before you go to sleep. So whatever you say with your mouth is very influential. For example, a very practical example, when God created the universe, he spoke things into existence, and here we are. There is nowhere in the Bible where it talks about how he wrote it down or anything. He literally spoke it out. And him giving us the authority to speak things, trust me, you can have everything and anything that you want by just uttering a word. Another thing I've learned when it comes to affirmations and the power of manifestation is that it's a way of unlearning the negative thoughts. You know, we grow up in a very negative environment, especially if you grow up in a family whereby they're not very intentional when it comes to affirming good things. And you know, especially in African society, affirming bad things, affirming negativity is actually something very common. One of the videos that I did last year is overcoming insecurities, and I gave an example when it came to I gave an example of like a family setting whereby everyone else is like probably fair skin tone to a lighter skin tone, and then there's probably that one child who's love for darker skin tone, right? And then maybe that child is always affirmed, you're the black sheep, you're the dark one, you're the ugly one. Those type of affirmations are very bad, because by the time this child grows, they would never believe it if someone was to come and tell them that they're beautiful, because throughout their childhood, throughout their adulthood and teenagehood, whatever, they have been affirmed that they're dark and they're ugly. So many times growing up, we've been affirmed a lot of things. Even at school, you've probably been told you're dumb, you're stupid, you're not good enough. So now as an adult, taking action into affirming positivity might feel a little bit awkward or a little bit weird or maybe taboo, because you feel like, nah, but I was told that I was not good enough, so why should I tell myself that I'm good enough? But you need to start telling yourself that you are actually good enough and unlearn the negative and start speaking the positive for yourself. So I also want to give like another practical and common and realistic example of the words I love you. Okay, so if the more you say I love you to someone, the more you even start feeling like, okay, I'm actually falling in love with this person, right? Or that person as well starts feeling that emotion. Because another thing with uttering words, there's a psychological connection to it, and then it's connected to your emotions, because once it gets into your head, you start replaying whatever it is. It could be negative, it could be positive. You start replaying those things, and then your emotions, I don't know, something just happens. It's just something natural. So when someone says I love you, definitely something happens. So affirmations do have an impact on both the communicator and the receiver. Additionally, in situations when it comes to complimenting, I intentionally took this example because for me, I've noticed how much it's worked for me. So let's say you're complimenting a friend, a person, or a lover. If you've noticed, it boosts that person's confidence from like a 0 to 100. For me, if someone compliments me like, oh my goodness, you look good, you smell amazing, even if I wasn't feeling very good about myself, even if like from that moment I just go from like, even if I was on a 60%, I would definitely shoot up to 100% because someone has said something nice to me, something positive. So even if I was having a bad day, even if I felt like I'm too fat or I don't feel pretty enough or my hair's not looking good, if someone just throws a positive compliment, I am definitely gonna feel good about myself. So words and affirmations, they do manifest certain things into reality, guys. This is a real thing. Like just speaking, whatever it is that you say, it definitely does have a psychological and an emotional impact to a human being. So the Bible says in Proverbs chapter 18:21, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruit. So in this instance, I believe death represents emotional damage, low self-esteem, low confidence, and yeah, all those things when you affirm bad stuff. You become dead inside because you feel worthless. So your tongue has the power to pronounce death and life as well. So life is the opposite. When you utter good words, you are emotionally strong, you are healthy, you have a good self-esteem, your confidence is amazing, and you just feel good. So for me, when I'm interpreting that verse, I feel like that's what it means when it talks about death and life are in the power of the tongue. I mean, you can unpack a lot when it comes to that verse, but I just felt like explaining it in this sense and in this aspect of my understanding. So you need to actually be that person who manages your tongue, what you say. You need to be very careful of what you say. If you're a parent, be careful what you say to your child. One of the things I really admire when it comes to my mom is growing up, she has never ever affirmed bad stuff when it comes to us, like my siblings and I. And I think that's one of the things that I have learned from her. And growing up, I know that for a fact that when I have my own kids, I'm definitely going to be that kind of a mom. And it's very important because it's also played a role in my life to actually get to a point where I'm actually quite confident. I feel like had she said bad things to me growing up, probably my confidence would be a little bit shaky. I'm not saying I'm 100% confident, but I feel like the level I'm at, it's because I always remember, but my mom once said that I'm very, good at what I do, or I'm this, whatever good stuff that she said. So whenever I feel like I'm slacking, I can always come back because I always remember those words that she affirmed to me. So just in case you're watching this video and you have never tried to affirm, or probably you have, but you've never been really intentional about it, I just have 3 tips in which you can actually start affirming. So the first one is make a list of positive statements and keep it short. Remember to keep your affirmations very short, especially when you're starting. Even if it's just 5 positive affirmations about yourself, let it be. You can write it down in your diary, you can write it down in your notepad or sticky notes. Especially with sticky notes, this is something I once saw in a movie actually, whereby it's actually a series. This lady would write down her affirmations, and then in her bathroom she'll stick it on her mirror. So every time she goes into the bathroom to brush her teeth or to take a shower, she remembers that, okay, I'm going to be affirming these things. And then she would remind herself that she's confident, she's beautiful, she's successful, she, all the good stuff. And then the other thing is speak the affirmation out loud or quietly for about 5 minutes, even twice a day. And I'd recommend you can do it every morning when you wake up or in the evening before you sleep. It's very important to wake up and you remind yourself of the good stuff, and it's also important to dream knowing that you said something good about yourself. It really helps. And the last tip is do not stop. Once you start affirming, don't stop affirming, because there is power in repetition. So let's just say you've always felt like you're not good enough. The moment you start repeating constantly on a daily basis that you're good enough, you will actually start to feel good enough, and you will be good enough, in fact. So it does bring stuff into existence and affirmations. So what are the results of affirmations? What happens when you start affirming? The results of affirmation. So it gives you a sense of belief. You start believing in yourself. You start believing in whatever you are affirming for or affirming to, whatever it is. And you become optimistic instead of pessimistic. So if you're a very negative person, you become very positive. I used to be a very negative person, especially during my teenagers, and it also came from a place of how my life was at that time. And I would always just feel like, nothing good's gonna come out of my life. But of course, because I also had a friend who was always telling me you need to be very positive, I started being very intentional until I bumped into this book and I was just like, whoa, I have to be optimistic. Life happens, okay? And it's very possible that you feel negative. I'm not saying that every single day you need to feel good about yourself, but I feel like most of the time you just have to try and push away those things so that you can push through, because sometimes negative thoughts can drain you down. Whatever you're believing for grows when you start affirming. Whatever it is you're affirming, it starts to grow. Your confidence starts to grow. If you're affirming that you need more money, it will start to grow and you start to have it. If you want more opportunities in your life, business opportunities, investment opportunities, academic opportunities, job opportunities, whatever it is, it will eventually start to grow because you are speaking these things into existence. Another thing, this one I intentionally wrote it down. It produces emotional healing. For me, one of the results when I started affirming, emotionally I started getting healed, you guys, because emotionally I was feeling bad. And when I started telling myself all this good stuff and affirming the positive, it produced emotional healing for me. And that is something that I thought, you know what, I need to tell you. One of the things when you start affirming, it produces emotional healing. It also helps you to see yourself in a different way. Your perspective shifts from negative to positive. If you were looking down upon yourself, you will not do that. You will actually feel like, you know what, I'm good enough, like I mentioned earlier. So if you want the book by John Cahu, if you feel like, you know what, I need to take a chance and to read this book, you can send an email to divulgetalkshow@gmail.com. I will put it just here on the screen. I do have the PDF book. You can read it through. It will change your mind. It will change your life. It will change the way you see life. Also, in conclusion, there is a video on YouTube by Jack Hill Perry called "Watch Your Mouth." I will link I will link in the description the YouTube link, and you also have to watch that. She explained so much how powerful the tongue is, and she explains it better, but I felt like let me just let you guys know and let me just share this beautiful topic with you guys concerning affirmations and the power of manifestation. If you guys have anything that you want to comment, please comment. Please don't forget to subscribe, you guys. Please don't forget to like, to share this video. I would really appreciate it. So until next time, see you guys next time, and goodbye.